Hello, Greg Nelson here with the Hard Knock State. Hey, we've been going over the steps of the sale with these live streams, and today we're going to be covering the sixth step in the sale. It's the close, closing the deal, how to close the deal with your customers. You know, this is the most important part, and this is where it all boils down. Everything we've done up until now, all the service that we've provided, has all has to do with closing the deal. Because if we don't close the deal, we truly aren't providing a service to our customers. Even though the information was great, we provided good customer service. We're not solving the customer's problems if they don't leave with the product that they came in that they know is going to solve their problem. So, hey, let's get into it. Get you a little bigger screen here. So the steps of the sale, number 6, the close. Now there's a number one, there is a first step that we forgot to deal with the live stream. And so we're calling that number 0, but that's attitude. Because your attitude is going to be the basis for everything that happens, not just in your selling career, but in life as well. And we got to go through life with a can do, will do attitude. And without that, you know, the odds are stacked against us. So this is the moment that you've worked so hard to get to, and that the step that separates those that have from those that don't have. And you want to get what you want out of life, you're going to be able to do this by learning how to negotiate and learning how to close the deal. Remember, attitude is everything. So let's recap the steps so far. Number 0, which should be number 1, is the attitude. You must have a great attitude, one of service and one of that can do attitude. Number 1 was the greeting, a power greeting, one that has our clients forming a positive opinion of us within the first 3 to 5 seconds. Number 2 is the discovery, fact-finding our customers' needs and wants. Number 3 is product selection, finding the right product that fits our clients' needs. Over 50% of the people shopping for one item are on the wrong product. And when they come into your store, it's up to you to show them multiple options to determine what the right product for them is. And they're going to tell you all about it if you're correctly asking the questions in the discovery during the fact finding and finding out what their wants are and what they absolutely need. Number 4 is the demo, a dynamic demonstration. Walk around, walk through, put on a show, and entertain your client. Remember the dynamic demonstration. We're actors, and life's a stage, and the best actor wins. So when you're doing this, man, get your customers engaged, make it entertaining, and get them to laugh a little bit. You know, move twice as fast, right? Talk twice as quick. Make sure that when you're doing your walkthrough, your walk around, or you're showcasing that product, make sure that you incorporate as many of the buyer senses as physically possible. Have them pushing the buttons, have them turning the knobs, have them opening the hoods of the car, opening the trunks, opening the oven door, right? Closing the microwave door. You know, if you're selling appliances, if you're selling spas and stoves, maybe have them sit in the spa and feel the way the recliner is, and pinpoint where the jets are going to hit the pressure points on their back, their neck, and behind their knees. Get them involved. The more you can get them involved in the demonstration, the better off you're going to be. Number 5 was the write-up or the proposal. Make your guests feel comfortable, just like if you were to welcome them into your home. Refreshments, anyone? Gather all the information pertaining to the deal. Not getting info now slows the whole process down. And remember the trial closes. Asking the customer how to spell their legal name, asking them where they would like it titled to, asking them what their email address is, what their cell phone number is. If they're not ready to move forward with this, they're going to tell you and they're going to let you know. And these trial closes are less of us closing the deal and more of us taking a temperature from our customer to finding out where they are at in their own buying process. Before we get to the close, we need to know the rules. And yes, there are rules. And not living by them will cost you deals. Hopefully you were able to download the book today, the ebook by Grant Cardone, 20 Rules of Closing a Deal. It's absolutely amazing. If not, I'll try to quickly drop that in the chat here. See if I can get access to it. Laquita, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you. Anyway, I've got them all right here, so we'll just get into that. So the 20 rules of closing the deal by Grant Cardone. Number one, always remain seated. Present on your feet and close on your seat. Your body language by standing up in the close tells your customer that the negotiations are over. It tells them that you're all done. And if you are standing up while you're entering a negotiation and your party is sitting down, but you're the closer and you're negotiating and you're standing up, it just and you put that proposal in front of them, it doesn't have the power as it does if you're sitting down. You're standing up, it tells them, okay, here's your numbers. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you later. And they're just expecting that you're going to walk away because you're standing up and not sitting down. Always present your proposal in writing. People believe what they see and not what they hear. Always have a contract and a pen and a notepad or piece of paper to write on. What's included in your offer? 99% of sales professionals fail to get this point. They think that just because it's included in what they're selling, that it shouldn't be written down. Everything should be written down. If it's got a warranty, tell them what the warranty is. Tell them the term of the warranty, the length of the warranty. Heck, if you're selling automobiles and yours comes with free oil changes for life, write it down. If it comes with free roadside assistance, write it down. Anything of any value you want to write down, because once again, people believe what they see and they read and less of what they hear. And they're going to believe it less when it comes out of the mouth of a sales professional. We're marked right off the bat as silver-tongued devils. And so we want to change that perception in people. And the only way we're going to do it is by providing a higher level of service, offering multiple options to help them solve their problems, and then making everything clear and transparent when it comes to the pricing. The old addicts, the old school tactics of hide and evade, those are in the history. Those are history in the history books. And if you come across an establishment that still practices those old school tactics, man, I just turn around and go somewhere else. There's too many good businesses out there that don't play those games anymore. Number three, always clearly communicate your proposal. Don't mumble, don't chew anything, and don't cover your mouth. Speak clearly and confidently. Number four, always maintain eye contact. Avoid wandering eyes. If you have a TV in your showroom floor and the game is on, forget about it. That's not what you're there for. You're there to serve your customer. So look your buyer directly in the eyes and practice this. This is hard for a lot of people. Just walk down the street, try this, practice this. Walk down the street, whatever town you live in, and look at people in their eyes and see who looks back at you in your eyes. Probably 1% of the people will actually make eye contact with you. Normally what they do is they look down, they look away, and they scurry away as fast as possible. Number five, always have a pen available. You wouldn't go into a battle without a sword, and you wouldn't build a house without a hammer. Your pen is your sword. So make sure you always have one and have a backup on your person as well. Number six, use humor to alleviate pressure. Spending money is stressful, and the use of humor relieves that stress. Your humor should not be off color, offensive, nor should it make fun of others or your competition. You should use humor and weave it in a part of a story. Everybody loves a good story. Use your humor, your joke, weave it into your story, and tell your story to your customer. People will pay more for entertainment than anything else. It's like Grant Cardone says, Kevin Hart makes more money than all the teachers in LA combined. Why is that? Because people want to feel good. They'll pay to feel good. They'll pay, $100, $150 to go to the ball game and go sit, in the stands here in Seattle. It's normally raining, and they'll go spend all their money to go do that, drink $12 beers and eat, $10 hot dogs just to feel good and be a part of it. So remember, people pay for entertainment more than anything else. People also make decisions easier when they're happy, and they don't make decisions when they're upset or they're frustrated. In fact, when your customer or your buyer is upset and frustrated, the first thing they want to do is they want to leave to go think about it. Remember, life is to be enjoyed, not endured. Let's not make a bigger deal out of this than what it is. And it all comes down to it, because if they're either going to buy it from you or they're going to buy it from somebody else. You've done all the hard work, you've done the selling, you've done the presenting, you've done everything you're supposed to do, and you treated your customers like gold. It would be a shame to let your customer leave without your product, to have them to go buy it from the guy down the street who does absolutely nothing of what you do. So just remember that. Number 7, always ask one more time. This is what separates the closers from the sellers. To figure out another way to circle back after being told no and asking again will ultimately make you a great closer. And when I say ask one more time, what does that mean? One more time is always one more time. So, hey, find different ways to ask them one more time. Brian Tracy, in his book, Close That Deal, he had a really good point. It was called the doorknob close. Hey, it was in a home selling situation. You're selling roofing, you're selling siding, you're selling flooring, maybe you're selling solar panels, and you sit down at the kitchen table with the owners of the home, and your presentation's all done. They say they need to think about it, or they're going to, take your estimate and they're going to shop it against 3 or 4 other companies to see where you fall into line and whether they're going to give you your business. Well, as you're going up, grab the door handle, look back at them, pause and look back at them and say, hey, you know what? Now that my presentation is over, would you mind telling me why you aren't buying anything from me today? They're going to honestly tell you, but what are you doing? You're actually asking them one more time. And then you say, oh gosh, was that it? Well, that's a great point. And then you move back to the closing table to ask one more time to close that deal. With Grant Cardone, we have the photocopier close. As you're getting up, your customer says, hey, why don't you go make me copies of that proposal there? I need to go home and think about it. Agree with them. Hey, folks, no problem. As I'm making, and then go make them copies. And as you're coming back and handing them their copies, you say, hey, Mr. Smith, gosh, as I was making copies, I was thinking, if everything were right here, you wouldn't be asking for copies. You would be asking when you could take delivery of the vehicle, when we could set this product up in your house, when we can install it and take your old thing away. What's not right here? Is it me? Is it the company? What is it? And just keep asking one more time, one more time. A lot of times during that photocopier close, most people, they just go, hey, they realize that they need to solve a problem. You have their solution and you're the right person to deal with. And they'll just sit right back down with you and say, you know what? Gosh, Laquita, you're absolutely right. What was I thinking? I don't need to think about this. I need to get this done this weekend. So they'll sit back down and they'll finish the deal with you. Number 8, have an arsenal of closes available. Most salespeople have 3 to 5 closes in their tool belt. We want a complete arsenal. Think so we can handle the close in every situation. Think hundreds, not 4 or 5. And number 9, always stay with the buyer and reduce the amount of time that you leave the buyer alone. This is important because this, the more times you get up and leave your buyer, they believe in you less and less and less. You're leveraging credibility when you stay with your buyer. And this also creates the back and forth, which creates the undue antagonism and lowers the perceived value of your company and your product. It reduces the customer experience and extends the complete closing time. Not to mention it extends their delivery time. If it's an automobile or a high ticket item, it's gonna greatly extend the time that they're going to spend in the finance office signing all their legal paperwork. And we don't want to do this. We want to make it a quick, simple, easy transaction, one that's going to be rememberable and one that they're going to tell all their friends about so they can come and see us and we can help solve their problems. Number 10, treat the prospect like a buyer. One of the biggest errors made in negotiations by salespeople is the mistaken ability to determine who's the decision maker and who's actually going to be buying their product. It's a shame, but most sales professionals, they try to deem this, they try to figure this out while they're showing the product and not as they're closing the deal. In fact, you should always treat the buyer like the prospect like they're a buyer. Treat everyone like they can, and they absolutely will. Grant Cardone's personal saying when he's with a buyer, this is what his little mantra, he says, his affirmation, he tells himself mentally when he's with a customer. Every buyer is a buyer. Treat them like the buyer, and they will turn into a buyer if you only treat them like a buyer. And that's A great little poem that you should incorporate and put in your own tool belt and take with you when you're with your next customer. Look, they've been closed on everything that they have on them. They were closed and they bought the car they pulled up in. They were closed on the watch they're wearing. They're closed on the purse, the coach purse she's carrying, you know, the little clutch she's got with her. Somebody closed her on that. Somebody closed her on the shoes, on the belt, on the jacket. They are buyers and they're in front of you. Treat them like buyers, because if you treat them like buyers, they'll buy. Number 11, always know you can come to an agreement. This is a mental attitude that we need to develop and protect, like all the gold in Fort Knox. Like Grant says, if there's even still gold in Fort Knox, have the mindset that they will. And when there's a will, there's a way. Number 12, always maintain a positive demeanor no matter the response from your buyer, or for that matter, your own management, because your management can get negative just like your buyers can get negative, and just like the other salespeople you work with can get negative. You want to maintain this positive attitude, like, man, like it's built out of cast iron and nothing's going to break through it, right? If everybody else is falling apart around, everything's falling apart around you, you want to be the shining star and the leader. You want to be the one that they look to as the problem solver. And you know, your management, you know, they hear a lot of stuff. If they're desking your deals or they're sending you out with figures, man, they're getting bombarded from all the different salespeople that are on the floor or on duty that day, helping those customers who are buying in to all the negativity going on around them. So staying positive is absolutely key. Number 13, always smile. No matter the outcome, no matter the response, the objection, or the communication, smile big and smile always. For the next week, practice smiling in every situation. Make the habit of smiling. When you can argue with a smile, disagree with a smile, negotiate with a smile, and overcome objections with a smile. People want to do business with happy people, and smiling is the first indicator to tell that you're a happy person. Number 14, treat the buyer like they can. Treat everyone like they have money, and they'll spend money that they don't have because you treated them like they had money. And so they'll go in, they'll finance the product if they don't have the cash available. They'll put it on their credit card if it's a lower ticket item. Heck, if it's a big ticket item and they actually have that credit worthiness, they'll go ahead and whack the credit card for a whole $15,000 or $20,000 if your company would allow them. And I don't see why they. I know the credit card rates can get pretty high, and some companies put a limit on that. But hey, you got a buyer right in front of you. They have the solution to that payment option. Let them whack the credit card. Okay, they're going to remember that. They're going to come back and see you, and they're going to send all the friends and family to see you. But if you don't treat them like a buyer and you don't treat them like they can, rest assured they won't, and they'll never come back to see you. Number 15, always acknowledge the buyer for any communication they make. Anytime your buyer makes an offer, acknowledge it for them. Even if the offer isn't acceptable, still acknowledge it and still thank them for making that offer. Look, in these negotiation situations, you know, this is our job daily. This is what we do for our career. The customer may buy a car once every 3 to 5 years and may buy a house once every 5 to 7 years. It's not what they do every day. So them entering into a negotiation situation freaks them out. They're scared, right? And they're making an offer to test the waters. Don't take it personal. They're just testing the waters, right? And they don't want you to make them feel embarrassed for making an offer that they didn't realize maybe isn't justified or is actual. So just agree with them. Hey, thanks for making that offer. Be agreeable, be happy, and thank them. Thank you for making that offer. I really appreciate it. You know, if I could do that, I absolutely would. But here's what I can do for you, and then put the proposal out in front of them. Number 16, always agree with the buyer. This is the number one rule in selling. Always agree with the buyer. I don't care in any situation, always agree with the buyer. And this is different from the buyer is always right. This is just more of just being agreeable with the person you're in front of. Hey, if you're not agreeable and they make an offer and you just flat out say no, or they give you an objection and you flat out say no, remember, the frustrated and the upset person, they freeze up, they tense up, and the only thing they want to do is leave. So if you agree with them, it eliminates all that. It makes them relax. People in selling, likes attract, okay? And many things likes don't attract. In selling, likes attract. And so you want to be agreeable with your buyer. Remember, it takes two people to disagree. It only takes one person to end the disagreement. And that only happens when one party of the two starts agreeing with the other. Number 7, always look for, or number 17, always look for a solution. The world is filled with can't do people. Those who can do, do. And no one cares what you can't do. They only care what you can do. So if you have a customer in front of you and they're looking to make a purchase or do business with you, don't tell them what you can't do. People hate that. People hate to hear what you can't do. Hey, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Well, do you have this? No, I'm sorry, we don't have that. Oh, do you have this? No, I can't do that. Tell them what you can do. Hey, look, you may not have the product or you may not have the exact right thing that they came in to look for, but I'm sure you have something similar, right? Hey, instead of, hey, can you do that? You know what? Hey, that's a great idea. This is what I have that would fit those needs, da, 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 and line it out for them and tell them how that product that you have will solve their problems. Number 18, care so much that you refuse not to close. The whole basis of what I teach in my sales coaching and sales training, number one is we're here to solve a problem. We're here to help our customers, and we need to go into this with a very caring approach. That we're here, we care about our customers, and we want to be the problem solvers, and we want to take care of our customers. So care so much that you refuse to close the deal. Look, you need to believe that your product is the only solution to solve your customers' needs. Remember, sales professionals are professional problem solvers. You have a solution, and if they leave without that solution, you haven't provided any real value. Number 19, use the full arsenal of closes. Don't rely on 4 or 5 closes. You need hundreds. Just because a particular close doesn't work with one person, because you tried it once, doesn't mean it's not going to work with other people. That's the reason for the arsenal of the closes, right? The storehouse of closes. We've moved from the tool belt to the tool shed. Heck, we moved from the tool belt to the tool shed to the tool warehouse. And that's where the arsenal lives, is in the tool warehouse. So get to know them all. Get familiar with most of them. Heck, if you can remember all 100 of them, do it. Because at one point in time, you'll be put in a situation where you'll have that one close. You don't use that often, and now you need to dust it off and bring it out and use that tool. And number 20, always know that you don't provide a service until you close the deal. Selling, demonstrating, and promoting are all admirable actions. However, if you don't close the deal, all the hard work and service that was provided was only great information. The value from what you provide comes when you close the deal and solve your customers' problems, and they leave with that product, and they're enjoying and actually using that product. And now they're on to what the next big problem that they need to solve in their life is. So now we're going to go into the overcoming objections. Now I'm going to cover just a few of these, a handful of these. I'm not going to get into the whole hundreds of closes, but overcoming objections in the close. Not every objection you hear is actually an objection. In fact, most of these are just knee-jerk reactions, right? I tell this story often. I told it to the salespeople who I've trained over and over again. I walked into a store one day to buy a winter coat for my daughter. It's in the Northwest. It's rainy. It's cold. It was wintertime. And I walked into one of the big box stores, and they just had the ugliest jackets ever that I wouldn't even spend, if they were free, I wouldn't take one. So I go, hey, my daughter, what is she? She's a teenager, right? She's probably into one of those, hipster stores. So I went all the way down to the other end of the mall, and there was a friendly clerk just sitting there, right? And I walked in, hi, can I help you? I just looked down, no. And I walked over to the jackets, walked to the counter, bought the jacket, walked out, and then I asked myself, why did I not interact with that person? We're programmed as individuals to say no. Saying no is our God-given right. And so we want to voice that opinion as much as possible. By saying no, it gives us as human beings authority over another person. It gives us authority over our ideas, over our beliefs, over our opinions. And sometimes we say no just as a knee-jerk reaction. We call these reactionary defense responses, okay? And that's all it is. It's just a reactionary defense response. That's no different than, gosh, it's hot out, or gosh, my back hurts, right? Or if they say, and so these RDRs, reactionary defense responses, should be handled as complaints until further validated as a true objection. So when they say, wow, that's a lot of money, or oh my, that price seems high, that's no different than, wow, it's hot out today, or gosh, my darn back hurts again. Okay, handle all these objections as complaints until further validated. So how do you do that? Hey, I agree the price is high. All prices are high right now. Good thing you knew that before you came in, or good thing you knew that before you arrived. Okay, and now we're overcoming objections. So now let's say we validated those complaints and there are real objections. Now we're just going to go into some of these here real quickly, and maybe you could take these going into the weekend and will help you selling, help you close your clients, help you close your deals that you need to make. So we're not buying anything today. No problem. You always have the right to change your mind, right? You agree with the customer. Hey, not a problem. You always have the right to change your mind. Hey, we're not buying anything today. I'm with you. If you don't buy today, that will be my fault, not yours. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to sign a coaching agreement today. Hey, no problem. If you don't sign the coaching agreement today, that will be my fault, not yours. Okay, I understand. We're not buying anything today. I understand most of our customers don't buy on the first day. Usually what they do, most of our customers come by and look around, try things out, test things out, then they come back to buy. Is that what you had in mind? Oh yeah, who's going to say no to that? Absolutely. That allows you to get further on in your process and start providing and going through the figures of the close, or in any situation of any step of the sale that you're in. We're not buying anything today. I totally agree. There's no obligation. Let me provide you with estimates on price, down payment, monthly payment, and figures on what you're trading in. And if the figures aren't agreeable, I wouldn't expect you to buy. However, if the figures are agreeable, I'd encourage you to do business with us today. How about we need to think about it? I need to think about it. I understand. Would you need 2 days, 2 or 3 days, or you need 2 or 3 weeks? And the customer may say, hey, 2 to 3, I don't need 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 days is fine. Great. Hey, if you take 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 days, or you take 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to ask yourself the same 3 questions. May I share those with you? Yeah, go ahead. Hey, is this the right product? Do you like the product? Customer's going to say, yeah, we like the product. Hey, can you afford the product? Have we made the price of this product affordable for you? Yeah, I can afford it. Number 3, do you think that we're the right people for you to do business with? Have you had a good experience here? Have you treated well? Could you see how you're going to be taken care of when you bring your unit in for servicing? Could you see the value that could be provided, not just now, but ongoing throughout the life that you own that product? Yeah, I could see that. Great. Then let's get this done. Sign right here, please. Okay. I need to talk to my partner. Now, this is a big one. And this is one that most of us, we take the bait and we bite the hook right on this one. I need to talk to my partner. You see a single person coming in, they tell you they're married and that the partner is going to need to be a part of the decision. Usually the reason why they say this is so they're not getting locked down or painted into a corner to do something that they really don't want to do. They really don't want to make it the decision today. They come in to gather information. That's the only reason why the customer comes into the store. They have a problem. They want to get information on that problem. Then what they really would like to do is they'd like to take that information, go home and think about it. Usually what they do when they go home and think about it, they stew on it, they procrastinate. Hey, we're all humans. We all do it, right? Getting and having them to make sure they take delivery of that product today is truly the only way we're going to solve their problems. So when they're using their partner, they're really negotiating. They're just using their partner as a way to take their negotiations. They're kind of like they're using their mouth to negotiate for them. Usually, but when in reality, it's just them negotiating. And so you want to say, hey, I think you should. It's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. Let's get this going right away. That's a good one where if you're trying to determine whether it's a complaint or an objection, that would be a good one to use right there, because if they balk at that, then it's probably validated further as an objection. Hey, I need to talk to my partner. Hey, I get it. And if you're anything like me, I talk to my spouse, my partner about everything. Heck, I don't even go to the grocery store without my partner knowing. I won't even go and get it. Every time I go to get a loaf of bread, my partner knows I'm at the grocery store getting a loaf of bread. We talk about everything. And I'm sure you've already talked to your partner or your spouse about everything too. I'm sure you already talked to him that you're headed down to the dealership today to look at vehicles. Is that right? Yeah, she knows. Okay, great. Well, then they know there's a chance you can come home with that product. And I'm sure they put the trust and the belief in you that you're intelligent enough to make a well-informed decision. And if these numbers weren't affordable, again, we wouldn't expect you to buy. However, if everything pans out for you and you get exactly what you're looking for, why not get this done? Get on with your weekend and start taking care of the other problems that are really need bigger consideration than you buying a vehicle today. Just little pointers there. There's many more closes than that. Those were just a few. And many ways to overcome the objections. But we go over this in my weekly and our monthly group coaching for the salespeople out there, or even if you just want to learn about sales, because I believe there's a direct correlation between sales and life. And if we can learn to negotiate in sales, we can learn to negotiate in life. And getting what we want, we only get it by negotiating. We don't get it by wishing. We don't get it by throwing the penny or the quarter into the wishing well, right? Or into the fountain. You just, thank you. It will only remain a wish. You got to go after what you truly want in life. And if you want to learn the art of selling, if you want to learn selling as a trade and as a skill, I'll tell you what, most organizations, your earning potential is unlimited. And when 76% of people are living paycheck to paycheck and 64% have zero money in savings, there's not a better time to learn to sell. There's not a better time than learning to sell than right now. Learn to sell. Learn to sell more, learn to sell consistently, and we'll make you more on each paycheck. My weekly group coaching, you can join it weekly, you can join it monthly, or you can join it for 90 days, okay? Weekly starts at $47. The month is $175, or your best value is 3 months at $495. It's every Thursday at 5:45 Pacific time, whether it's daylight savings or whether it's not. 5:45 it is. And you can get more information at thehardknockstate.com. We cover what we cover in the coaching sessions. Not only do we cover more of objection handling, more of the steps of the sale, but we also are going to cover phones, follow-up, how to send emails, texting with a customer, prospecting, cold prospecting, and much more. Not only that, we cover all the different, like 20 different courses that Grant Cardone offers. And with that, we'll get you all tuned up. We'll get you selling. So if you're new into sales, you can be successful from the first day you start selling. And if you've hit a wall or a roadblock in your selling career, there's a reason for it. And my weekly coaching can help you break through that wall and get you back on to hit new levels in your selling career. I just want to take, I don't know how many people are on this chat or on this live stream, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now. All right. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. I really do thank you for this, and please visit thehardknockstate.com. There's not only are there the weekly coaching sessions, I'll also do a discovery call if you have questions, if the group coaching is right for you. And we also offer online courses through Cardone University. That is the world's best and #1 training platform in the market today, with over 50 million lessons already served and over 3,500 videos in their library. It's the best way to, hands down. If I knew about this, I was on this program, gosh, for a couple years, many years ago, and I believe it's the one driving factor that allowed me to hit new and higher levels in my selling career, and also helped me get into management at the outfit I was working for. And without Cardone University, I would be half the salesperson that I am today. And it works. It's affordable, and it's bite-sized chunks. So you're talking, a minute to maybe 5 minutes of training modules. You do 2 or 3 of those a day, 1 or 2 of those a day, and you're all trained up for the day. And then you just go on, start helping your customers, start implementing all that training into your customers. Next day, do another couple modules. Before you know it, you'll be a master at the selling trade, and you'll Never look back. You'll never have money issues again. Wouldn't it be nice to just have a little bit extra in your bank account at the end of the month? Maybe take that trip, maybe buy your wife something nice, maybe buy your husband something nice, something he's always been looking for, maybe a new power tool, maybe a new saw, maybe a new, power drill. Heck, if you're a wife, maybe you want some new shoes or a new Coach bag. You can get it through selling. It's a trade, just like anything else, just like being an electrician, being a carpenter, being a plumber, being an attorney, being a doctor, being a chiropractor, and being a dentist. There's no better career out there that I could see, and I would rather be a salesperson than anything else. It's a good industry to be in, and you won't be wrong if you get into it. Please join me on my weekly coaching group sessions. You won't be wrong, and I know you'll get all the tools you need to be successful. Thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate you taking the time to tune in to the live stream. And don't forget, keep your eye on my YouTube channel. And there's always at least one, if not many, videos each week. We'll talk to you soon.